The WNBA is witnessing a new era, one where rising stars refuse to be silenced by outdated power plays. Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham have emerged not only as talented athletes, but as powerful symbols of resilience and leadership. With Clark's fearless playmaking and Cunningham's unwavering intensity, they've turned early season bullying into motivation, shifting the league's dynamic in real time. Through grit, skill, and unity, these two have proven that respect isn't given, it's earned. Their story is more than a basketball moment, it's a movement. Here's how they've broken their bullies and inspired a stronger, more fearless generation of players. 1. Clark and Cunningham. Silence the critics, once and for all. In a league where physicality and mental toughness define greatness, Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham have delivered a powerful message. Talent, heart, and resilience will always silence the noise. Over the past few weeks, both players have been at the center of conversations about rookie treatment, aggression, and where the line is drawn between competition and bullying in the WNBA. But instead of backing down, they leaned in, responding not with complaints, but with commanding performances on the court. Caitlin Clark, one of the most anticipated rookies in recent history, has shown time and again that she belongs in the pros. From deep threes to court vision well beyond her years, she's let her game speak, and speak loudly. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham has emerged as the ideal teammate and enforcer, unafraid to stand up for Clark, bringing intensity and energy that makes opponents think twice. What makes their impact so powerful isn't just skill, it's the chemistry, the courage, and the conviction to push back against intimidation and toxic competitiveness. Critics said Clark couldn't handle the league's physicality. They were wrong. Others underestimated Cunningham's leadership and loyalty. They've been proven wrong too. Together, Clark and Cunningham are rewriting the narrative, not just for themselves, but for the future generation of WNBA stars who refuse to be bullied into silence. The message is clear. You can't push players around when they push back with power, poise, and performance. 2. WNBA bullies get a reality check from rising stars. The WNBA has always been a league of intense competition, but when that intensity crosses into targeted aggression, it becomes a problem. In recent weeks, rising stars Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham have become central figures in this conversation. What started as overly physical play quickly turned into something deeper. Veterans testing rookies not just on skill, but on whether they could be broken. But Clark and Cunningham didn't flinch. Instead, they responded with grit, maturity, and performance that couldn't be ignored. Clark's basketball IQ and sharp shooting have already begun to reshape her team's offense. Meanwhile, Cunningham has taken on the role of the protector, not allowing dirty play to go unanswered. Together, they've built a bond based on respect, resilience, and the shared goal of proving they are not here just to survive. They're here to dominate. Their recent performances have been a wake-up call. The so-called bullies are beginning to realize that this new generation of stars isn't soft. They're tough in the best way, mentally focused, physically prepared, and emotionally unshakable. Every hard foul now fuels a stronger comeback. Every doubter now watches in silence. This is more than just basketball. It's a cultural shift in the WNBA, where respect is earned not through intimidation, but through excellence. Clark and Cunningham have made it clear, if you try to knock them down, they'll just rise higher and make you regret underestimating them. 3. Caitlin Clark stands tall against on-court intimidation. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA with immense hype, and with that came a target on her back. Opponents tried to test her toughness early, through aggressive defense, hard fouls, and cold shoulders. It was clear some veterans felt the need to humble the rookie, but Clark never backed down. Instead of reacting emotionally, she focused on her craft. Her response wasn't in the headlines. It was in her handles, her clutch shots, and her relentless hustle. Every bump she took on the court, she turned into fuel. With every game, she's proven she's not just here to play, she's here to lead. By refusing to fold under pressure, Clark is showing future rookies how to stand tall when challenged. Her calm under fire is redefining what it means to be mentally tough. She's making it clear, no one will intimidate her out of her game. 4. Sophie Cunningham fires back with fierce performance. Sophie Cunningham isn't just playing basketball, she's setting the tone. When she saw her teammate Caitlin Clark getting pushed around, she didn't sit back. She brought fire, toughness, and energy that said one thing: not on my watch. Cunningham plays with a chip on her shoulder, but also with purpose. She knows how to channel aggression into momentum, and she's quickly become the emotional leader of her team. Her recent performances, scoring efficiently, defending fiercely, and hyping up her teammates, have made it clear that she's not here to play nice. She's here to win and protect her people. 5. The day the Bullies met their match in the WNBA. There was a noticeable shift in energy the day Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham finally pushed back against the bullying in the WNBA. The league had been watching closely as Clark was repeatedly targeted. Hard screens, excessive physicality, and subtle attempts to shake her confidence. But this time, she didn't just survive it. She and Cunningham turned the tables. Clark showcased her signature range and elite court vision, dropping dimes and nailing deep threes with a cool composure that couldn't be rattled. Cunningham, meanwhile, took on the role of the enforcer, bringing that fire that let everyone on the court know this isn't going to be easy anymore. The two made a statement that day, not through words, but through performance. The message: enough is enough. What happened next was undeniable. The tough vets who once got away with pushing around rookies were now hesitating. They'd met their match. Clark wasn't crumbling, she was thriving. Cunningham wasn't backing down, she was charging forward. This game became a symbol of a turning point. The WNBA, while still competitive and physical, had reached a new moment where rookies weren't just surviving. They were changing the dynamic. Clark and Cunningham's performance that day wasn't just about winning a game. It was about winning respect. They proved that strength isn't measured in elbows or aggression. It's measured in response. And on that day, their response was loud, proud, and impossible to ignore. 6. Power and poise. Clark and Cunningham changed the game. Power can be flashy. Poise can be silent. But when the two combine, you get something truly special. And that's exactly what Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham have brought to the WNBA. Their partnership, though unexpected by some, has become one of the most influential dynamics on the court this season. They're not just playing, they're transforming how the game is approached. Clark's power comes from her unmatched shooting range, her laser-sharp passes, and her ability to control the tempo like a seasoned veteran. But it's her poise under pressure, the way she absorbs fouls, shakes off trash talk, and keeps her head, that sets her apart. Even when defenders try to bully her, she responds with brilliance, not drama. Cunningham brings a different kind of power, emotional, vocal, and physical. She knows how to get in an opponent's head, but she never loses her own cool. Her poise is in her confidence to stand her ground without letting the game become personal. Together, they're shifting the energy of their team, and maybe even the league. They're showing that you don't need to shout to be strong. You don't need to fight dirty to compete fiercely. They're changing the tone of the WNBA by showing that intelligence, unity, and self-control are just as threatening as brute force. This isn't just a team-up, it's a movement. And it's making waves well beyond the stat sheets. 7. No more pushing around. These women fought back. There's a line between tough defense and bullying. And this season, that line was crossed more than once. Caitlin Clark, the league's most talked about rookie, found herself on the receiving end of constant contact, cold shoulders, and targeted hits. But the days of letting it slide are over. With Sophie Cunningham by her side, Clark has drawn a line in the sand. And they've both decided, no more pushing around. Clark didn't let the pressure break her. She let it build her. Each hard foul became fuel. Each dirty look became motivation. And when she responded, she did so with excellence, dropping dimes, hitting logo-range threes, and leading with maturity beyond her years. Cunningham's role has been just as critical. She's the vocal protector, the teammate who sees injustice and calls it out on the court. She's not afraid to mix it up, and her intensity has helped empower Clark and others to play without fear. When opponents try to rattle them, they get met with fierce resistance, both in spirit and in scoring runs. They're not disrespectful. They're just done being disrespected. This isn't about starting fights. It's about ending the unfair ones. And the message is clear. The next generation of WNBA players isn't here to take abuse quietly. They're here to win, to lead, and to demand fairness. Clark and Cunningham have drawn the blueprint. Stand tall, fight smart, and never let anyone dim your light. 8. Caitlin and Sophie lead with grit, not fear. Leadership isn't always about age or experience. Sometimes it's about who's willing to show up, stand firm, and guide a team through adversity. Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham have proven they are those kinds of leaders, built from grit, not fear. Caitlin, though a rookie, leads with her fearless style of play. Whether it's pulling up from deep with defenders draped over her or threading impossible passes in transition, she never lets pressure shake her. Even when veterans try to intimidate her, she refuses to give them that power. She plays with unshakable focus, never whining, never backing down. Sophie's leadership is more seasoned. She brings the battle-tested edge, always the first to step up when the game gets physical. She's not reckless, she's calculated. Her grit shows in her willingness to take charges, talk trash when needed, and energize her teammates. She protects her squad, especially Clark, making it known that anyone messing with her rookie will have to answer to her. Together, they form a leadership duo built on mutual respect, work ethic, and resilience. Their grit shows up not just in the box score, but in the way their team plays with more confidence, more courage. They're redefining leadership in the WNBA, proving that you don't need to be the loudest or oldest to lead. You just need to be fearless, focused, and willing to fight for your team. 9. From targeted to triumphant, a WNBA turning point. Caitlin Clark didn't just come into the league as a rookie. She came in with a spotlight, expectations, and unfortunately, a target on her back. Many tried to knock her down, physically and psychologically. From overly aggressive fouls to dismissive post-game remarks, Clark was clearly being tested. But what those challengers didn't expect was that she'd emerge stronger, and that she wouldn't be alone. With Sophie Cunningham's unshakable support and leadership, Clark turned the narrative. She went from being the hunted to being the one who sets the pace, dictates the flow, and controls the scoreboard. Game after game, her performances silenced critics and reminded fans why she's one of the most exciting players in the league. Cunningham, meanwhile, played a crucial role in Clark's rise, not just protecting her physically, but reinforcing her mentally. Every time she stood up for Clark, it sent a message. This team doesn't tolerate bullying. That solidarity sparked something greater: team unity, fan respect, and a cultural shift in how rookies should be treated. This moment feels like more than a good stretch of games. It feels like a turning point for the WNBA, where younger stars are empowered, where respect is earned fairly, and where toughness doesn't have to come with cruelty. Clark and Cunningham didn't just survive the storm, they turned it into a statement. They're not victims of the league's old habits, they're leaders of its new direction. 10. When skill beats shade, Clark and Cunningham's statement game. Sometimes, words fly louder than whistles. And in Caitlin Clark's early games, the shade thrown her way, by players, commentators, and even some fans, was almost louder than her performance. Almost. Because when the time came, she let her skills do the talking. And alongside her, Sophie Cunningham made sure no negativity could shake their mission. In what's now being called a statement game, Clark and Cunningham played with undeniable intensity. Clark dazzled with long-range threes, no-look assists, and calm under pressure. She didn't bark back, she balled out. Every point she scored was a response to those who doubted her. Every smart pass was a quiet clapback to those who said she wasn't ready. Sophie Cunningham had her back all the way. She matched Clark's energy with defensive grit, vocal leadership, and timely buckets. But more importantly, she made sure the tone was set. This team wasn't going to be pushed around. Their chemistry on the court, built on trust and mutual fire, shut down the narrative that they were soft or overhyped. That night, skill beat shade. They didn't just play, they took over. That performance became more than a win. It became a declaration, a reminder that real talent doesn't need to argue, It just needs to show up and deliver. Clark and Cunningham did that and more, and in doing so, they earned more than points, they earned respect. Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham didn't just make headlines, they made history. What started as a response to bullying became a powerful example of strength, teamwork, and self-belief. They showed that being young doesn't mean being weak, and that playing with class doesn't mean playing soft. Through every challenge, they rose. Together. Their journey sends a message far beyond the WNBA. When you lead with purpose and push back with grace, no one can control your story. This is just the beginning. Thanks to Clark and Cunningham, the league and its future will never be the same.